G'day peeps, how you going? Craig here. Thought I'd show you an update of our market garden here. We call it the market garden because it's a bit away from the house, and the garden up there near the house we call the kitchen garden. These are the 4 beds, garden beds that I've been making, and yeah, we're in the swampy area here. We'll come down for a bit of a walk through here. You can see plenty of water at the moment, beats the drought that we had last couple of years, or we haven't been in drought for 12 months now, but anyway, look at this, beautiful, beautiful. So we're in a little bit of a bowl shape here, where water over there in that weedy area is the dam, a little dam, and then behind that's a bigger dam, and the overflow comes down here, and it just eventually goes downhill and into the neighbours. So we thought we'd catch this and utilise this. There's a pile of wood here. This is my wettest spot here. So what I'm going to do is cover, when I do extend that down there, I'm going to cover this area here with the soil, and that's just going to help give it a bit of drainage and raise it up a bit. I've got to get some wattle tree branches and pack that up. I'm doing a bit of an experiment here. This one here underneath. Over here, these ones here, I'm going to cover these with the wattle branches and put mulch over the top and grow them a mulch, utilising what they call the roof stout method of growing. Anyway, let's come over here. Lucky I got my gumboots on today. I've planned, this is the first one that I dug, and I wasn't planning on making them so long, but hindsight, I got it in a bit of a digging thing, and I just decided, oh yeah, let's do some more here, more the merrier, especially when you consider the price of veggies in the shops at the moment. So I planted this out with some broad beans. You can see a few coming up here. And there's radish. I've planted this one out with radish and broad beans. I haven't amended the soil here at all. There's a bit of a mixture of clay and sand and good soil. There's all the radish coming up. Basically, everything here, I'm not growing the broad beans for food. I've got other broad beans up in the top garden around the kitchen. And the radish here and this is all going to be organic matter for this garden. As I start flowering, I'll chop the plant in half, and that'll help the plant develop a deeper root structure. We'll let it lie down. All the plant growth will be laid over the top as a mulch. And the radish, these are Daikon Radish in here, all growing. They have a 4 to 6 inch, or even sometimes deeper radish root. I'm going to leave them in the ground. They'll rot, and the worms will come and eat them, and the bugs will come and eat them, and that'll rot down, making organic matter in here as well. And all the leaves from the radish will be chopped down as a drop, and this bed here, hopefully next spring, will be perfect for growing tomatoes. Notice how I've left the grass in the sods as I've turned them upside down. A lot of people would try and break the grass off and pull the grass off, and what a pain that would be. I don't have the time and energy to do that. And it's all valuable organic matter there. These roots have got exudates and bacterial and fungal growth in there, engaging with the worms in the soil. By turning them upside down, most of the clods upside down, they'll rot down. As we mulch this down, this is all going to, the grass will eventually die out because it'll be covered over and become valuable organic matter in the soil. So now the idea of these swales is to collect water and to be a self-watering system. In summertime it gets dry here. You wouldn't know that you're in a bit of a swampy area. And what I'll do then is when spring comes on, as the warmer weather comes on, I'll cut a whole heap of mulch, which will just be the grass growing in the paddocks, and fill these swales up with mulch and heavily mulch the beds, and that will slow down the evaporation, and the mulch in the swales will act as a wick and will, in theory, will soft water these beds, so they'll require very little minimal watering on my behalf. I may have to bring a pot of water down to water them a couple of times in the peak of summer, but overall I think it'll be quite minimal. That's the theory of it anyway. So this bed here, I've got this one sown with brassicas, which is radish, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and the idea here, I'm not worried about getting a crop out of this bed. I've just sown it really thick. It's just going to be a cover crop. It's going to be mulch. It's going to be organic matter. It's going to shade out the grass, and yeah, it's just to prepare the bed for next year. This bed here, I've planted some Swedes in there. There's a few Swedes. Gosh, I tell you what, those Swedes, they didn't like me burying them in here, but we might try some Finns next time, and then maybe a few Croatians, I don't know. Okay, bad Jake, I know. Yeah, let's continue on. There's broccoli there. You can see some beetroot coming up. More beetroot. Cauliflower coming up. Beetroot, there's some silver beet through there. Where's my beets coming up? There's this silver beet, or what do they call that? Chard, Swedish chard. Swedish chard or Swiss chard they call it. This bed here, this is Perpetual Spinach coming up. I've transplanted that from another bed up near the house, and you put your spinach at the end. It grows quite big, it controls the edges. Got some garlic coming up, which I've transplanted from elsewhere. A couple of strawberries. I've got more strawberries to plant along this edge, and strawberries make a very good edging plant. They control your edges, and through here I've got cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower. What else have we got? Oh, broccolini scattered through here. I've scattered it quite thick, thicker than what you would expect. There's a small spinach here to control these ends. But the idea is I'm going to create a living mulch, shade out the grass that's in there, and yeah, create organic matter. Some of it I'll let grow for a crop, and come next year, come spring, this is where we'll grow our tomatoes. Tomatoes like a fair bit of water, and we'll see how we go. Anyway, yesterday, you believe it or not, I had to water these seedlings here. The ground here, the clay, formed a bit of a hard base, and it was a bit dry. So all I did is pop the watering can in that swale, filled her up, and gave it a light sprinkle of water to continue on. But we've had a heavy dew overnight, and you can see how wet it is. It's supposed to rain today, so can't remember if I showed you down here. You come down here. Oh gosh, it's wet. So that swale's that's the outline of a swale there. It's quite shallow. Now, one of the bonuses with these swales that I think is there'll be yabby traps. Last year we found, with the overflow of rain coming through here, we were finding yabbies escaping the dams in the paddocks, and I'm hoping that these swales will get yabbies in them, and if they do, it's going to make catching them quite easy. That's the theory. That's my hypothesis. It sounds pretty sound to me. We'll see how we go in the future. So, yabbies and veggies. What do you reckon? Some yabbies are like miniature lobsters, freshwater crayfish, and yeah. What do you reckon? Some yabbies and some better steamed greens. Oh, sounds good to me. Anyway, this is all from me. Cheers.